Hey, this is Steve Brown with ESM7, making local big.
You gonna sing it with me?
Turn it up!
Here we go.
Last night we were talking about downtown bands and then suburban bands, and when all the downtown bands were all friends with each other, and that was their clique, and bands that played at the Boardwalk did not play at Old Ironsides, or vice versa, and anymore it's getting so everyone just kind of has to help each other out, and like Jerry Perry would promote these certain clubs, and then somebody else would be in charge of these certain clubs, and never the two shall meet. And now it's totally, it's become completely different.
Well, I think like Montana's out of the game now, and I haven't seen her around promoting any shows.
No, I haven't either.
Jerry Perry, his little club, his little Luigi's Pizza thing got shut down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the old school promoters, I think, are just letting the new guys come in and do it, and we're all working together. Not that we're a club promoter, but I mean just promoter of music in general.
And it has to be that way, otherwise it doesn't work.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
everyone struggles on every level right now. I mean, whether you're a national act or not, we just got done with the Three Doors Down and Daughtry and Chris Daughtry, and it was kind of the same way. And you talk to the Tesla guys and everything, and it's tough out there right now. Radio's in a weird spot, and our album got released and got some radio play and everything, and then everything changes, and it's like whoever was playing it before isn't there at the radio station, or and it's certain things that run it, and who knows what it is, but the only way to do it anymore is to do live performances,
live shows,
and get it out as much as you can. We talked about it in the Oleander camp, and we realized that we pressed these CDs, and we were like, this is probably the last record recording that we're ever going to have on a CD.
Yeah, it's everything's just, digital. Everything's on iTunes, digital, internet. It's all taking over.
And you go to sell it, and people are like, oh, I gotta carry something now. I don't want to carry it.
But there are those people out there like me. I like to have the album. I like to have the album art.
I do too.
I like to see the stories inside and the special thank yous and all that. But I guess we're old school though, right?
It goes back to the old days of sitting in front of the record player and putting a record on and going through,
reading it.
Frampton Comes Alive, and you opened it up and there was pictures and, the stories and all the stuff, and it was so great,
Right.
And I miss that part of it. And you can get it downloaded and everything, but I don't want to look at my phone and zoom in on a picture of somebody after the record and have to go through all that. I like it tangible, or it's in front of you,
These guys know I say it all the time on Facebook. There is a little clique in Sacramento of bands, 4 or 5 bands that are 4, 5, 6, 10 that are actually out there supporting each other, and they're going to the shows. Mm-hmm. And you'll see some of these bands on the Sac Rocks concert, Sacktown Rocks concert. They're all playing on the bill, and there's even more that aren't on the bill that are going to the show, supporting the show. So we have a little tornado effect going on right now, where everybody's coming out and supporting each other to try to make Sacramento music big.
Yeah, and doing it that way, in that manner, just, supporting each other. And I see a lot of bands in Sacramento. It used to be like, I'm in this band and I don't play with other people. And now there's all these collaboration cool things that are going on with singers, and this bass player's playing with this band, or there's a band Some Fear None, and they they had a rap guy come in, or different things, and different stuff going on, and that's so cool, and that's so awesome that things like that happen and exist. And isn't that part of evolution?
Yeah,
also,
absolutely. Yeah.
That's the coolest. And like the Tesla guys are, they've had such a great career all the way along, and it's just that evolving of that band and how they changed with the times that make them successful today. And it starts with the music, but also, it's, unfortunately, the business part is a part of it too. And if you can figure all those things out in some magical order, and some of it's luck, and some of it's talent, and some of it's, whatever it may be, but, they've figured that out, and that's, what makes them cool in town and, all across the states,
Yeah.
We go outside of Sacramento and go see Tesla. We got a chance to run into them in Chicago. They were playing the House of Blues there. It's a totally different crowd than you'd see them here in Sacramento. People out there were way more rabid and freaking out that they were there, and it was awesome to see that whole thing too. Different parts of the country and how they support music. Every town is different how
Yeah.
they do it. So it's been such a great journey as far as that's concerned.
And then guys like you can go all over the United States and see how they do that and bring that information back to home.
It is, and it's about that too. I've had lately, I've kind of had this, revelation with music and everything, and you can get burnt out on, God, we put this record out and it didn't sell 1 million records or whatever. But the experiences that we gained out of that is what life is all about, away from music and in music, and I talk to so many people. There's 50 bands in where we sit in this area, and there's young kids who are coming up, and I wish somebody like me or had experience would have helped me along, the way, or said, well, I don't know if you want to do that, or and it in turn teaches us something too, It's a give and take, and it's really great,
What advice would you give to some of these youngsters coming up and starting a band right now? What kind of advice do you have?
It's not giving up. It's just like anything in life is, you have to grow somehow, and doing something repetitively over and over again, not only keeps you out there, but then you run into, and then it's like running into other bands and things like that. You gain that, like, wow, they're doing this cool thing, and that's how you learn and you evolve, and bands or personally and everything, and it's just it's really cool.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to realize that, but along the way, all of a sudden, I'm lucky enough to have been around it long enough and played with so many people, and the light bulb goes ding one day, and I go, wow, well, I guess I did learn a lot.
Yeah.
It wasn't just malted hops and parties or something,
Right.
Well, it was, but not anymore.
But through every experience, you've gained that knowledge, and that life experience.
And I started teaching drums recently, and I thought, well, do I have something to offer? I'm like, well, I'm not this kind of drummer. I look on YouTube and there's all the guys and doing all this stuff that I'm like, oh, that's so awesome. I wish I could do that. Well, okay, I can't do that, but I can offer you some of my experiences or the way I approach things. And, a lot of people come to me and say, well, I've done a lot of studio things, and how do you approach writing drums to songs and things like that? Okay, I can tell you about that, because that's something that's personal. So, can I teach you how to play like Mike Johnston? No, I'm not. I couldn't. He's amazing at what he does, and I think that's awesome. And I would definitely go, well, I can't teach you that, but he can.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
But you have to learn the fundamentals first, and then get into that other.
I've made a career and sometimes a living out of simply counting to 4 and starting over, and that's, and I say it all the time, and that's kind of my mantra, but it's true, and I've just been there and been a solid enough drummer that I could get by on that, And
Where do you teach at?
I teach at 111 Studios in Roseville.
Okay.
And that's 773-7111 for all you out there. That's 773-7111. I got it right in this area. And it's been really great. It's a great little place, and they teach they teach vocals and keyboards and all the stuff.
Nice.
When I finally ran across it, I was like, this is really cool. And I'm really happy in this stage of my life to be a part of something like that. It's really rewarding, I guess.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds fun.
I mean, I grew up with it, so it was kind of instilled in me, and and I don't want to say easy, but it was easier for me because, you know, my brother is older than I am, and he's Ted Nugent's drummer now, and so I got to see his evolution over his span of 40 some odd years now, and so for me that was one whole experience, and compiled with my own, which was kind of a different path altogether in a different time, and all those things put together is a really, really interesting thing. It's a really cool place to be.
Cool.
Digging it.
Yeah, that's nice.
Finally.
So when you're not out touring the nation
Yeah.
or the world, you're teaching drums right here in Roseville.
Yep.
That's cool.
It's the best thing, man. I'm totally loving it.
Nice.
I don't have to worry about not being surrounded by music or you know, what am I going to do now? Am I going to sit at home and go, maybe I should try to play some drums? And I don't know. You know, it makes me do that.
Right.
And grow in that way.
And you're doing what you love.
Yeah, and
Playing
I haven't
music.
had a chance to do that. You know, I recently just had that, you know, that revelation. And I just went, wow, this is something that I can, you know, be a part of. So I love it. I love it. I really do. I'm so happy with it all,
Yeah.
you know. Great people, great friends, and the musical community is just really cool, you know.
That's really cool.
And it doesn't get any better than that, does
Yeah.
it?
I mean, you made a career out of rock and roll.
Yeah.
So, it's awesome.
Here and there, in spite of myself.
Well, we're here with Steve from Oleander. He plays the drums, and we really appreciate you coming out and
All right,
spending some
thank
time
you.
with us.